You know, I start a call with a client, and the first thing I do is slow them down. I start a call with one of my salons, and the first thing I do is slow them down. Have them take some deep breaths, feel their belly, feel their chest right up to their shoulders, and then even have them hold that breath inside of themselves before they breathe out with a sigh. And I caught myself this morning as I was thinking about this conversation that I sometimes jump in. And then I remembered, as we were planning this next conversation, that it's what I often do in Ever Coach is have 1, 2, 3 people to coach, start off with a conversation at the beginning, wrap at the end, so I have 15, 20, 25 minutes to work with somebody. But that's not how I coach. I go deep, and then I go deeper still. And I realized, well, why don't I model that? Why don't I play? And so I've invited Simon on today, and I'll introduce him a bit later. And he said he's willing to play. He's willing to dive deep, and I'm going to coach him, and we'll go wherever we'll go. And I told him before, we spoke just before we came on now, and I said, don't tell me what you want to talk about. I don't want to know, because I wouldn't have any way of knowing before a client gets in the conversation with me. So we're going to dive deep. I grabbed a copy of my book this morning, The Prosperous Coach. In fact, I realized I've got no copies left. This is the original. This is the proof. It's funny for me. I'd never written a book before. It was pretty amazing to receive this for the first time. There's a section I call Fearless Coaching. And this section was really important to me. I think it's that willingness to be fearless, to not be afraid, to be willing to serve the person in front of you rather than please them. That really changes everything. And in the first section of the book, I put 18 key components of fearless coaching, and I want to run through a few of them. The first one is be bold. Yeah, be bold. I posted a quote from Daniel Coyle yesterday, who wrote The Talent Code. I posted it on Facebook. You know, he said, people don't want a coach who's like a courteous waiter. They want someone who scares them a little. I don't know whether you need to scare your client a little, but they do want you to be bold. They do want you to say the things that nobody else would say. Will some of them not sign up with you if you're that bold? Absolutely. But your right people, that's what they're craving. And my experience is working with higher and higher performers, more and more successful people, that the more successful you become, the less you have anyone in your life who's willing to say what needs to be said. And it becomes deeply attractive to sit in a conversation with someone who's not going to hold back. And I'm always clear, look, I'm not speaking the truth. I'm speaking my truth. Take what you like, let go of what you don't. But I promise you, I will not hold back. I promise you, I'll speak my truth. Number 2, search for the glimpse of genius. There is something incredible about the person in front of you, and it's your job to unearth it. It's your job to discover it. Become like Sherlock Holmes. Be a detective. What is it that makes that person in front of you so special? That's your job. I call it creating clients for a reason. You are creating that person in front of you. Draw something out of them that's so incredibly inspiring. Number 3, go deeper. Yeah, don't stop. The moment I feel that we're there is a clue to me that we're not, that there's a place to go deeper still. That's the only way I like to play. So if you get to this space and it feels like, we're there, and the client's quiet, and allow yourself to go deeper still. Number 4, be okay with silence. I'm deliberately slowing myself down right now. There's a moment when a client has an insight and you feel it. Stop. Nothing more needed. There's a moment when a client gets lost in their thoughts. If they're with you, you see them go like this, or you hear them say, that's a good question. If you hear them say, that's a good question, It means they're filling a bit because their mind is thinking. Bite your tongue, say nothing. If you've just made a proposal and they've stopped, say nothing. Be okay with silence. Number 5, keep some of your attention on the inside. Even now, as I'm talking to you, I'm bringing my attention down to my toes. I mean, do it yourself right now. And you'll become aware of this tiny tingling sensation in your toes, or the soles of your feet, noticing that the floor is gently pushing up on them. And keep a little bit of your attention on the inside of you as you're present with them, because that's the best tool you've got. You're feeling frustrated, it's a clue about what's going on over there. If you're feeling bored, it's a clue about what's going on over there. Keep some of your attention on the inside. If your tummy is tight, your chest is expanded, they're clues. Number 6, remember that the magic is in the person in front of you. You are not the magician. You don't need to be. The magician's in front of you. To be an extraordinary coach, be just that, extraordinary. Be you. Listen deeply. Ask the questions that nobody else would say, and free the person in front of you to really open up. That's where the magic is. Your job's to draw it out. Don't get confused and think you're the magician. There's anything special about you. The special person is sitting right in front of you. Number 7, pay attention to their words. Really. Every word they say counts. Listen to their language. What are they speaking about? How are they using words? What words are they using? Notice that today when I work with Simon. What do you hear in his language as he's speaking? Number 8, lead powerfully. Especially in enrollment. It's so easy when you've seen somebody amazing, drawn out of them a bigger dream they've ever had, help them, serve them so powerfully that it's already on its way, that they get to this place they want to work with you, they want to be led. Okay, this is how it looks like if we're going to work together. How do we begin? Well, you send me a check. We don't begin till I receive the check. Lead in the process. They will thank you for it. And those who don't, they're not for you. Lead powerfully. Number 9, hide nothing. I remember I was coaching a guy around relationships. I was living in San Francisco, and Monique and I just had this terrible argument. And I phoned him up, and I said, I'm really sorry. Something happened. I forget what I said now, but I didn't tell the truth. And we delayed our meeting for an hour. As I'm finally walking, I've calmed down a bit, I'm walking around the corner to coach this guy around relationship stuff, I realized, what the hell are you doing? Like, you're so out of integrity here. And I said to him, look, I want to call myself out. It wasn't true, whatever I said to you. The truth is, I just had a big argument with Monique. I was totally in it. I was triggered, and I didn't want to tell you that. And I felt a bit freer in that moment because I'd spoken my truth. And he looked at me and smiled, and he said, yeah, I knew something had gone on. Didn't know what it was, but I could tell. And thank you for telling me, because I trust you more now. And it was such a relief. It was like, it didn't make sense. I thought I'm supposed to have it all together and then he'll like me. No, hide nothing works both ways. It's my commitment to my clients. I'm not going to hide from them. I don't have to have an amazing life in order to work with somebody. I have my ups and downs. I'm human. Number 10. I call this one God with a small g. You, your clients, me, we're God with a small g. We create our worlds. By the way we see our world, the filters we have, what we speak into the world, we literally create our worlds. When you know that, then the person in front of you becomes really powerful, because everything they say that they don't want, they just don't understand that they do want it. That's why they've got it. Everything they say they want, they don't have, they don't understand. If they don't have it, it's because they don't want it. Is it true what I just said? I don't know. But it's a really cool frame for me to show them there's a different way of looking at life, and that life can be created. Number 11 is come from spirit. You know, get out of your head, let something flow through you. It's, you know, listen to all this stuff and then throw it out the window the moment you sit down with the person in front of you. It's something bigger than you. The questions will just come. If a question comes, you don't know what it means and why it's come, speak it anyway. Tell them, I don't know why this question's come, but I'm going to tell you what the question is on my tongue. Number 12, set a clear intention. Where are you coming from? I'm going to speak from my heart right now. I'm going to speak to your heart. I'm going to speak from my gut intuition, and I'm going to speak to that head of yours that's kind of all over the place right now. Just get clear on where you're coming from and where you're speaking to. Number 13, possibly should have been number 1, seek permission. I'm constantly checking with the person I'm working with, even if I've worked with them for years. Hey, are you okay if we go here? This is a bit high flame right now. You all right with this? Never, ever coach without permission. Number 14, coaching creates miracles. Until you've experienced that, because you've been coached yourself, until you've experienced that, because you've seen the miracles that occur in your clients' lives, then you can't be a great coach. But the moment you experience it, the moment you know the truth of that, then everything changes. You can look your clients in the eyes and say miracles are on their way. And it's not some fancy phrase. You understand it. It's visceral. You know the truth of that. Number 15, invest in yourself. If you've never invested in a coach, if you've never invested in personal growth work, professional development, if you've never spent more money than you feel comfortable to spend, then why would anyone ever want to invest in you? And how would you have the gall to ask them? I wrote an article recently, I posted it here on Facebook, something like how to become an overnight success as a coach in 46 years. And if you read that, you'll see how I've constantly invested in my professional development. Even back in the days when I used to be a teacher. Invest in yourself. Number 16, be you. That one should have been number 1. Be you. Don't try and be me. Don't try and be other great coaches out there. Be you. By all means, like, take techniques you like and try them out and experiment, but eventually make them your own. Be you, because your people will be drawn to you. Don't try and imitate me, because you'll be a weak imitation of me. By definition, you're not me. I struggle enough to be me. Be you. Number 17, commit. Get clear on the power of commitment. It changes everything. Commit to being a professional coach, if that's what you want to be. Commit to serving your clients powerfully. Commit to investing in yourself. Commit. Help your clients to do the same. Number 18, be willing to fail and fail and fail and fail. Like, failure is not the goal, but it is the path. It really is. It's you know, it dawned on me the other day that the Creative Women's Salon, a program that no one's ever heard of because I ran it for 1 year and no one ever signed up for it. Not a single person signed up. I canceled it. I spoke to my wife about it. We talked about it, and she's convinced that she came up with the title. It became the Confident Woman's Salon. It's run for 6 years. I've taken these incredible groups of women through it. It morphed into the Prosperous Coach Salon. That morphed into the Leadership Masterclass that I'm running right now. I've made $1 million from that program. From a program that didn't fill, that I didn't get a single person on. And then I got creative myself and played around. Be willing to fail. Again and again and again. That's what I doubt all the elements of fearless coaching. So let's play. Let's dive in. Simon, bring yourself on, and we'll dive into some fearless coaching. We'll really play and see where we go. Hi, Simon.
Hi, Rich.
Any insights come up for you as you are a coach, as you're listening to all of that?
You said, well, they all resonated because I read the book, and I guess that's why I'm sitting here. But the one was about committing, and I had a big insight when I read that I had never actually made the commitment to being a professional coach. You know, I've been a coach for many years. I've coached a lot of people, but committing to being a professional coach it really resonated. This is my profession. It's not something I'm good at and do. It's my profession, and I think that's, you know, one of the reasons I'm sitting in front of you right now.
So let's dive in.
Sure.
Let's dive in. What would make this a game changer for you? Like, so we do speak in 3 years' time. You pick up the phone, you call me, and you say, you know, I knew you were going to ask that question. I've worked with you long enough. I know you long enough to know that is what you asked. But this time you weren't messing around. You said what would make it a game changer. 3 years have gone past, and you weren't kidding. Everything shifted. It may have happened in days. It may have been weeks or months. But everything shifted on that one conversation. I had one insight, and everything shifted. Talk me back from 3 years' time. You're calling me right now. What occurred?
Well, I'm now the head of an incredible coaching practice. It turns over £1 million a year. I work with some incredible clients, and we're working on the kinds of projects which really make me come alive. I can't wait to speak to my clients because of the incredible things that they're doing. I'm just completely inspired by them. I can't wait to get on the call and to see what they've done since the last time we spoke, and to see what magic we can create in our coaching conversations. That would be my dream. That would just be fantastic.
And I'm curious, why is that so far out there? Like, I know that you have an impact with your clients. I know you get lit up when you do the magic that you do when you're coaching. So what makes that so far out there into the future?
I think I'm probably defining myself by my past record, I suppose. How I have, as I said, about committing to be a professional coach. I have been an amateur coach. I've been somebody who has been really good at coaching, but not doing it as a profession. And so, yeah, I have great coaching skills. I have a real impact on people. But how to create a practice which generates an income, which generates clients through referral invitation. So people, I'm being contacted by the kinds of people that I'd really like to work with. That's the big steps. Feels like I've been working down a particular path, coaching whoever sort of showed up, being given coaching clients by different people I associate with. But this is, how do I do this for myself? How do I create Simon Crow coaching? That's the fit. And what's really interesting, another insight that came through for me, is that my pride is really hurt here, because I feel, there's some shame about the fact that I've been coaching for probably 8 years now, and have some. It's my passion. It's something that I've poured all of myself into in terms of my professional development, and yet I'm right now, because I've decided to say no to the kinds of things that I didn't enjoy doing. I'm struggling to make a living. Yeah.
Thank you for being so authentic.
Sure.
Yeah. And may I have your permission in this conversation to go deep, to push when it feels like I can push into it, have you lean into an edge?
You do have that permission, absolutely. That's what I'm here for.
Cool. So the word amateur is a great word. It's got, people have kind of lost sense of what it means, but it's from the Latin. Amore means to love. If you're an amateur, you do what you do because you love it. What I get about you is you love coaching. It's a passion of yours.
Totally, yeah.
So that's not to be dismissed or taken lightly. It's really key. And I think that the distinction people miss when they're looking at being a professional isn't just about making a living from what you do. I think a great professional loves what they do and then just learns how to charge for it. But the love has got to be key, otherwise you're not going to really succeed.
Yeah. I've done things in the past that I've made money at, but I haven't loved doing. So now I'm in love with my profession. It's now about how I create a business around that. Yeah.
Tell me about those dream clients.
It's funny. Somebody asked me the other day, who would be my ideal client? And I thought for a while, and I said Richard Branson. And they said, well, why would he be your ideal client? And I think the kinds of people that I love to coach are those kinds of people who are endlessly creative, those kinds of people who have dreams and then they step into those dreams, the kinds of people who aren't afraid to fail. You know, they see failure as something which they just, you know, just live on, I suppose. You know, trying different things, seeing what works, and it seems to me that they've stepped beyond or creating their life from a place of fear. It's creating their life from a place of fun and that really lovely creative space of let's see what happens, let's be curious, let's play, you know. And they're the kinds of people that I'd love to be working more with.
What would you say if I said to you, well, why would Branson need a coach? He's a billionaire.
Yeah, that would be a great thing to ask, wouldn't it? That would be a really exciting conversation. Yeah, just to sit down and have a conversation with them and say, you know, what are the things that you struggle with? What are some of the things that keep you awake? Because he's human. I know he's a billionaire, but he's human. There'll be things that he's never thought of before. There'll be things that he's never considered before. And I'd really just love to have that conversation. You know, the thing to me about coaching isn't going along necessarily with an intention to change or to fix or to. It's to go along to serve someone wherever they are. It's to have that conversation, to see what comes out of it. It's not necessarily my responsibility to you know, you said, why would he need a coach? He doesn't need a coach, and that would be kind of exciting.
So that makes me smile, because that's the game I like to play. I work with high achievers, and one of the criteria I have is that you don't need a coach. If you need a coach, then I'm not for you. And it's fun, and I play with that, but I see that in you. You didn't go, oh yeah, you're right, no, he wouldn't need a coach. You were like, well, he doesn't need one. But what if he did? What if he did explore the things that still scare him or keep him awake at night? And that's an interesting conversation to have. I can tell there's a deep value in you around curiosity.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, you've seen it in action. Yeah.
You light up when you get curious. You light up when you tell me about, you know, I reflected back to you, the kind of clients you want to work with are endlessly creative. They have dreams, but they step into those dreams. You're not talking about dreamers here, right? People who actually dream and then make something happen with those dreams.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to fail. They try different things. They've stepped beyond fear. There's a value behind fear of fun. And that's a value of yours, right? They create their life from that place of fun, but they create their life. They understand that life is created, it doesn't happen to them. And there's an insatiable curiosity about them.
That sounds great to hear that back.
Do you coach anyone like that right now?
No, not that I can think of.
Why not?
I'm smiling because that's the $1 million question. Why don't I? I can tell you why I don't think I do. And it's about I don't know how to create a connection with those people. I don't know how to find them. I don't know how to create them. And so
I'm gonna challenge you on this one. I'm gonna lean into your edge here, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe you. You don't have clients like this because you don't want them. Am I right that you've done things in your life that would have scared other people, that other people have said to you, like, this is not possible, you can't do this, before you did it, and then you went away and did it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of things.
So can you get, if we were looking at somebody else right now, a client of the two of us, and they were telling you, like, want this thing and I don't have it, I don't know how to get it, that's why I don't have it. Then you looked at their track record and you said, well, you've got a history of doing things that everyone else thought wasn't possible, and then making them happen anyway, doing things that you thought were not possible, and then making them happen anyway. Can you see that if we were looking at that person, we might both be going, yeah, you don't have it because you don't want it enough. If you wanted it enough, you'd find a way.
So I coach a lot of people who are like me. A lot of people who are fearful because they don't know how to step into their dreams.
Simon?
Yeah.
I'm going to call bullshit on that one. You see, I'm not looking at a fearful man. I'm looking at a man who is endlessly creative, has dreams and steps into them. He has a track record of doing it, who's not afraid to fail, has done it again and again and again because it's the path. A man who has stepped beyond fear, a man who knows how to use fun as the path, a man who's insatiably curious. I see you.
Yeah. I see me too, yeah.
So yeah. I'm also calling bullshit on the fact that you say you don't coach anyone like this. Oh, yes, you do. You're just not willing to draw it out of them. You see, I could have bought into your story just then. I coach clients like me who get stuck with the fear and get stopped, and I could have coached you around the fear, but I choose not to see that. I don't see a fearful man. I see a man who's curious, and his curiosity moves him beyond fear, and a sense of fun moves him beyond fear. So you're not doing your clients, to say you don't have clients like this, it means you're not doing them a service. You haven't called it out of them. You're letting your clients down. It's what I call the glimpse of genius. Your responsibility. Create your clients. I don't mean create new clients, create these clients right now. Next time you want to come in a conversation with one of them, hey, I've got to tell you, I'm bored. This conversation doesn't interest me because I see you. And let me tell you who you are for me, and then speak the truth of who you really see them as. And then say, well, so why are we having this conversation at this level when this is who I see you as?
I had that conversation with a client this morning. I said to her, I'm bored of talking to that person. I said, I want to talk to that little part of you that I know. I mean, she's incredible. She is incredible. She's hypnotherapist, did lots of past life regression. She operates in worlds which are just, just amazing. And we had that conversation, and I said, that's the part of you, the part of you that's written books, that gets flown around the world because people want you to be on their expert panel. Yeah. So I saw that glimpse. And what happened? Well, it shifted the conversation. It was, she wanted to stay in her fear. In the sense, when you say I wanted to, it's like you're saying to me, I don't want this enough. Yeah, she didn't want it enough in that moment to want to shift it. But as you just said to me, I can see in her, she could do anything that she wanted. Yeah, she has the track record, the expertise.
And I have this way of seeing the world that I choose to see the world this way, that if she doesn't have what she says she wants, it's because she doesn't want what she says she wants.
Yeah, that's a difficult one, you see.
Mm-hmm. Why is it difficult?
Well, because what becomes clear to me through these conversations, the reflections I've been doing recently, is that I'm really comfortable with feeling fear and feeling uncomfortable, to the point where that's more comfortable than actually doing something different.
Mm-hmm.
So my reflection back to you when you say I don't want it enough is that perhaps I want fear more. I like to be stuck. I like to be in that drama of stuckness.
Yep. No perhaps about it, Simon.
Okay, I'll own it. That feels comfortable to me. It's great to have that awareness. It's only come up in the last few days. That this feeling that I have of being stuck is very familiar, and there's a lot of security around feeling crap.
Mm-hmm.
Better the devil we know. So I'll take your challenge. Yeah, perhaps there's a part of me that.
Let's slow it down for a second. Let's slow it down.
Yeah.
There's no challenge yet.
Okay.
Take me back in time. Like, when was the first time in your life, as a young child, where you remember that sensation of feeling stuck, feeling comfortable in the fear and not taking action, being okay with being where you are?
I was probably 4 or 5 years old. I think as a 4 or 5-year-old, I felt pretty powerless. Yeah. As you're speaking now, I'm getting a sensation in my chest, which reminds me of sensations I had as a child. That feeling of stuckness, of being powerless. Yeah. Excuse me.
So I'm a dad. I can't help but get a little bit emotional now because I think about my kids. I think about Kaleo's 3, but when he's 4 or 5, that he has this feeling of being powerless. Like, I can't imagine what it must be like for a little kid, just almost terrified because everything's more powerful than you when you're 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
How did it keep you safe back then, being willing to be powerless and not do anything, staying with the fear and not taking any action?
So I think that at some point I made the decision that as there was nothing that I could do about it, then I made the decision just to be really good at living with that feeling of powerlessness. Mm-hmm. It was almost a surrender, almost a giving up. Mm.
Do you remember making that decision?
It feels really close, actually. I can't remember the exact event in my life, but right now, in these emotions that I'm feeling in my chest, it feels like I can almost touch it. I'm getting quite emotional now.
Yeah. For me, it's okay. Like, you might cry, I might cry. Crying is just a release of emotion. And there's some stuck emotion, trapped emotion right now. Look, you made this decision, how you did that at 4 or 5, but you did it to protect yourself, to keep yourself safe. Because it was so unsafe going beyond where you were in that space, that it was safer to be here, to stay in this place of stuckness. And we know that was a great decision, because you got to where you are now. You're a dad, you're a husband, you've done incredible things in your life. So now I am getting emotional. So you did something amazing. You didn't just protect yourself, you helped yourself live an incredible life. Do you get how astute that 4 or 5-year-old was?
Yeah.
How present are you to that 4 or 5-year-old Simon? Can you picture him? Do you sense him inside of you? Do you need to close your eyes? How present are you to him?
As we've been talking, and the moment when I said I'm feeling quite emotional, because I said the words of I felt pretty powerless, and I just felt the sadness of that in that moment, and in that moment I felt a release. So you're saying, how present do I feel with that 4 or 5-year-old? Right now, I feel less present than I did, 3 or 4 minutes ago. I've got a picture of me of a 4 or 5-year-old. It's come back. Okay.
Well, close your eyes for a moment. Close your eyes. And picture 4 or 5-year-old Simon. And just bring him present for a moment. And either step into the picture or allow him to be present with you. And then just connect with him. I don't know whether you want to get close to him. You might kneel down to be close to him. You might just stay where you are. But say hi. Like, let him know who you are. He might not feel safe. He might not know who you are. So just let him know. Does he acknowledge you?
Yeah. Yeah, he's quite happy to see me.
Yeah, I smiled because I thought, oh, he might be curious. Like, who's this?
He wants to. They get this wonderful image. He wants to show me something. It's like we're running off together.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had such a joy and just a love of life and play.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was really astute. He did what he needed to do to protect himself.
Yeah.
Because the world out there is not safe when you're 4 or 5. And if you feel powerless, then everything has more power than you, then he actually did something very powerful. He did what it took as a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old to become the most powerful person. He did it the best way he could. He was 4 or 5. Allow your eyes to close again and just come back to him. And just say thank you to him, Simon. Like, you might use words, you might hug him, but just say thank you. Let him know how grateful you are. Like, he helped you live an amazing life. You became a dad yourself.
Some tissues in there.
Let me know when he gets it, when he just receives the thanks. Even if he doesn't understand what it's for, just let me know when he knows you're saying thank you.
It's hard for him to receive.
Mm.
Yeah. He's kind of squirming and trying to deflect it.
Yeah. And he's 4 or 5. Sometimes my boy doesn't want to be hugged by me. Well, say to him thank you again, and just say, and this is the hard piece because he's 4 or 5, he may not understand all the words, it may be more of a feeling than the words, but it's letting him know that he's kept you safe until now, doing the best he could, and yet, for the extraordinary life you want to create moving forward, Simon, you don't need that level of protection. You don't need that level of safety. It's what got you here, it's not what will get you to where you want to go next. And it's asking him if he'd be willing to just relax, like knowing that he can come and protect you if you need him, you'll ask him. But until you ask him, would he be willing to go back to playing, having fun, being curious, until you need him, and then you'll ask him.
Yeah.
He gets that?
I definitely felt
Some
that,
level?
yeah.
Yeah. I think it will be a felt thing because it's beyond words for him. Ask him if there's anything he needs right now.
He just wants to be loved for who he is. Yeah, he wants to go and play in the woods.
Yeah.
And know that it's okay. Yeah.
And can you let him know that it's okay because you survived the woods?
But it also feels important to let him know that there'll be someone there when he comes back.
Let him know.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me a second. Yeah.
And what does he need? A wave or a smile or a hug as you just say goodbye for now?
Yeah. Little wave.
Yeah. And as you come back to this moment, let's play that out, right? So that 4 or 5-year-old just got something that he'd never had before. What he got just then was this understanding that it's okay to live a life and come from fun, that you can move beyond fear, that stuckness has a purpose, but you can also play and come beyond that. And imagine, play out that life all the way through from 4 right until now. That 4-year-old got deeply because you just let him know that he's safe to go and play in the woods and there'll be someone there for him when he comes back. And have that play out in his life. That he can bring that insatiable curiosity and that sense of fun that goes beyond fear. And play that right up to this moment right now. That you just shifted your history.
Yeah.
See, time doesn't even really exist. All we have is this moment.
That's right.
And you just shifted your entire history in this moment. What are you present to, Simon?
Mm. So I'm present to two things. One of them is that this pressure that I feel on my chest quite a lot has subsided, and when I think of that 4 or 5-year-old boy, I can picture him playing happily in the woods, and that feels really. He's running around and playing, and he's not worried, and that feels really nice for him. You know, my tears at the moment, I feel like the tears of a dad. You know, when you see your child, and those moments where it makes you sad because you can't give them what it is that they need. You know, they have to find that for themselves. Or those moments of pride where but just to see him playing makes me feel good as an adult. It makes me feel emotional. Yeah. He I can't say it, but he had so much to offer. People couldn't see. And those words are very important because it feels that I have so much to offer and I can't get it out there, you know. So that's what I'm present to right now. It feels like I have this big bag of gifts and I can't get them out there. That's what it feels like. And that's the frustration that I've mentioned before. It's like, who the fuck do I give them to, you know? Because
it wasn't anything to do with who do I give them to, Simon. Do you get? You couldn't get them out there because you didn't want to. You were protecting yourself because a way of being that was laid out as a 4-year-old to keep you safe has been present until about 2 months ago.
Yeah, that's it's a good, you know, that's a good distinction. Yeah.
There are people all around you can give those gifts to. You didn't want to, for a reason.
Yeah, for a reason.
And that reason just shifted. Like really, your foundations just shifted 2 minutes ago. So take a deep breath. Fill your belly, fill your chest, right up to your shoulders. Take another deep breath in, fill your belly, fill your chest, right up to your shoulders. And take one more deep breath in. Fill your belly, your chest, right up to your shoulders, and then hold that breath inside of you. As long as you can. And then whenever you're ready, breathe out with a sigh as loud as you dare. And just shake your body. Just loosen yourself up. Shake your body.
Yeah.
Move your legs a bit as well. Stamp your feet on the ground. Just. There's a tightness in me that I'm just loosening up right now.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi, Rich.
So we went really deep just then. First of all, thank you for being willing to let me take you on that journey. Second of all, a couple of things might happen. Brene Brown calls it a vulnerability hangover. Sometimes if someone goes that deep and shares things they've never shared with another living soul, sees things they've never seen before, the next morning they wake up and go, holy shit, look, did I really do that, say that, be witnessed by someone? And what Brene Brown says, if you wake up and you don't have that feeling, you haven't been vulnerable enough. So thank you. And I sense you might wake up with a vulnerability hangover tomorrow morning. For me, that's a good thing.
I'm going to say it will have been worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. So where are you in this moment?
Well, I keep getting flashes of this little boy running around in the woods, and he doesn't keep looking over his shoulder. You know, he's not just checking that there's somebody. Yeah. And it's funny, I'm feeling that kind of anxiety that I want to reassure him, but he doesn't, at the moment he doesn't need it. He's off in his little blue jumper and his little jeans playing in the leaves. Yeah, it feels like something has been freed, because yeah, of course I used to play as a child on my own, you know. But if this is like a metaphor for something, you know, something has freed in him, in me now, but he's playing without that fear.
And it's not something that's been freed. You've been freed. That tightness in your chest was that way of constraining yourself to keep you safe.
Yes.
We know it worked, right? It worked because you've had an amazing life. You've done amazing things. You've had your ups and downs. That's being human, but you're here right now. And so that's kept you safe. And it was constraining you from what's coming next, from the extraordinary life you'd love to create next. Couldn't happen doing things the way you've always done them. You've just been freed.
Yeah. So this word keeps coming up for me about playing. That's what. Yeah. Feels
cool.
that yeah, about play, because you know, when we play, we take risks, we do things, crazy things sometimes.
Would you be willing to say that with the word I, and then tell me what you're about to say?
Okay, so when I really play, I'm not thinking about the consequence. I'm thinking about the fun, the experience, the connection. I'm thinking about the creativity, the joy of it. I don't give a fuck about what happens. You know, it's not about it's not about the result. It's about the moment, and that I love being in that space. Yeah, I love being in that space. It's fun. I come alive. That little boy, you know, you've seen him playing. You've seen him at times. So it's just a wonderful, yeah. So I feel ready to play now.
Cool, so let's play. What would be fun for the rest of our time together? How can we play?
So I've got a picture in my mind of you and I bouncing on a big double bed full of dollar bills. I don't know, but that would be playing, wouldn't it? That would be fun.
That would.
Which is that kind of movie, that scene from a movie when they, you know.
Monique used to do that. My wife's a jazz singer, for those of you who don't know, and she was performing in India for a while. So she'd come up in the evenings, having done her gig, with this ball of notes for her tips, and we'd throw them on the bed and roll on the money. And we did it because she'd be paid in rupees. So you add up this whole ball of rupees, and it would come to like 17 cents. And it was just for the fun of doing that.
Yeah.
And then something got interesting because I remember the first big check I got. I don't know what it was now, 20, 50,000. I have no idea which number it was. And I brought the check in to show her, and she said, "Oh, let's put it on the bed and let's roll on it, because then we can, have fun, just like we used to." And I was about to, and I caught myself, and I said, "Hang on, let's not," because this game of high-performing clients, I don't get a client every week. If we do this, it'll be rare. What I want to do is celebrate the proposals. So for a while, we haven't done it for a while, we should bring it back. I make a proposal, and we go and jump on the bed, because proposals are in my control. Spending time with extraordinary people is in my control. Them paying me, that happens when it happens. But me serving, me making proposals, me taking risks, those are the things that I want to celebrate and play around.
So when we were talking about Richard Branson earlier, I wouldn't be having the conversation to make Richard Branson a client. I'd be there having a conversation, serving him, and see what happens. See what happens. It might bomb, but it would be fun, wouldn't it? It would be an experience, the kind of experience that would scare me shitless, but I would just love to have. It would just be it would be fun. That's what I mean, and that's the So I kind of get
check in with your language, because you said the kind of conversation that would scare me shitless, but you didn't look scared in that moment. You were smiling as you said it. Are you sure that's not old language? I don't think you'd be scared shitless. You might have no idea what am I going to say. I coached a presidential candidate last year. This woman has 3 master's degrees. As we got on the course, started talking, she told me about her world. She has 3 master's degrees, a PhD. She created her own business that became a multi-million-dollar business. She is a mother of 3 kids, maybe 4, and she has a bodyguard 24/7 because she's running on a clean energy platform, and in her country, that means her life is at risk because of the oil interest. Every one of those things, I'm thinking, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm caught like, how am I going to coach her? And I had to keep saying to myself, let it go, let it go, let it go. And I just showed up with her, and I had fun, and I pushed her, and I stretched her, and had her see things that she'd never seen before. So it was scary when I got in my head, until I got out of my head and just played and had fun. I didn't see you scared shitless at the thought of coaching Branson, whoever it is.
I guess I'm imagining walking down the path to meet him. Yeah, and I'm talking about the kinds of doubts, those kinds of fears. It wouldn't be enough to stop me. That's what my mind likes to play around with. But it would be about showing up and being present.
Oh, good catch. So you want to be a professional coach, leave this world of being an amateur. Yes. And I mean a true professional, where you bring the love of being an amateur, the love of what you do, the love of your clients, and you put that into creating a business where you're willing to do what it takes to create a business. That's what I call a true professional.
That's the perfect definition, yeah, for me.
So what would you love to create, and how can I help you with that?
I just caught myself going into kind of a prepared script. What I would love to create. So the thing that just came up for me is I'm going to Ecuador in March. The Liberia trip, as you know, has been cancelled. The one I was going to be leading a group to, and I'm taking a team to Ecuador. And I have this picture in my mind of going there with 3 incredible people, and I'm just having just an incredibly enriching experience. So that's one of the things that I'd love to create. I'd love to create.
Let me check in with you, Simon. I'm going to check in on something on that. Does that move you towards becoming a professional coach? Or is that just developing your leadership skills, your love of coaching, your love of adventure? I want to just distinguish this for a moment.
So it's a great catch. I would love to create that. And that's something that's really important to me. It's not relevant necessarily in this conversation about becoming a professional coach. I guess it's just the energy of creation. That's what excites me about that. Absolutely, leadership. It's exploration. It's curiosity. It's all those wonderful values that I have. In terms of my coaching practice.
So let me slow you down. You have to enroll 3 people to come with you to be on your team.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
So that is part of your professional development as a coach, because enrolling on anything, I found this when I enrolled people to come to Liberia earlier this year, it was the most challenging piece of enrollment I'd done in years. It wasn't enrolling a client, which I'd got really good at. It was taking me right back to the beginning of like, oh my God, I had to enroll in this one. I remember I spoke to one of the other people who was leading and taking a group of people out to Liberia with us. There were 4 of us who were leaders, and we had this first conversation, and she said, how, what are you doing to enroll people? I said, well, I'm going to be speaking to people one at a time. I'm going to just have these deep conversations. And what about you? I said, and she said, oh, I'm sending a blast out to my email list. I've got 10,000 people on my list, and then I'm going to do a big webinar for the people who come along to that. And I'm listening to this thinking, oh my God, like she's going to enroll in 5 minutes. Like it's going to take me forever. What was interesting, of course, is that she struggled to enroll people, and I not only enrolled my people, I helped enroll the people to fill her team, because this game of one conversation at a time, really serving people. People would get on a call with me and saying, I'm interested to come to Liberia. I'd say, cool, tell me more about you. And I'd dive into a deep coaching conversation with their permission. It's enrollment. So yeah, let's distinguish. Let's put that to one side, because I can see it lights you up. You're going to be a leader. You're going to take people on a mission. You're raising funds for charity as well. Is that part of it?
Yeah.
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 And all that lights you up. That is professional development.
Sure.
And there's a distinction between you becoming a professional coach, is where you sign your next high-performing client or enroll your next group. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. It's just, I just want to say this because it struck me that it's about going to play in the jungle rather than playing in the woods. That's making me smile at the moment. The idea of going off to Ecuador. But yeah, we'll return to the high-performing clients. So I've never enrolled a high-performing client. So that
bullshit.
Okay.
You just tell me about one.
Yeah, I have enrolled a high-performing client. I've enrolled a number, actually. That was bullshit. Yeah. So it's about doing it consistently. It's about knowing that that's what I do.
Well, it is what you do. You just told me you've done it a number of times. So it's not about knowing what you do. And it's not even about doing it consistently, because it's only ever one client at a time, right? So it's not, this is where it gets confusing. It's not about those things. It's just about saying, what do I want to create? If I'm right, what the distinction I'm hearing that you're not articulating, tell me if I'm right. You've enrolled high-performing clients, but they're not high-paying clients, and that's why you don't even think of them as high-performing clients.
Let me think. Yeah, okay. I mean, some of them have paid what I would consider then to be a good fee. But there's a thing in my head which is about working with somebody who pays the value of, if you like, the magic that we create together. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, okay, high performing. It's great because they have that degree of autonomy that we've talked about, and that they play in that space of creativity. But someone who's like, this is what it costs. Great, let's get started. Rather than the conversation being about, I don't think I can afford that this month. It's that kind of. I'm sorry.
How much does it cost? What's the number?
Currently.
What's the number that you'd like to say that someone's going to go, oh yeah, of course, that's a no-brainer. Let's get started. How do I pay you?
I'd like to say, this is a great question, isn't it? Because right now I can pluck any number, and I can either pluck a number which is based on kind of what's possible, or I can pluck a number which is based on let's just be crazy. So it's a great question, and one that I don't just want to blurt an answer to because you've asked it to me.
So pause, stop talking, slow down, check in. I mean, the truth is you're going to make a number up, right? It's just made up.
I don't even want to say it. The number that keeps coming into my mind is £50,000. Mm-hmm. It kept coming back, so I'm going to say it. Mm-hmm. That would just be incredible.
What value would you have to give for someone to go, oh, that's worth £50,000?
See, that feels like a trick question to me.
It is. I was like, should I say it out loud? It is a trick question. Thank you. I was like, shall I say it? Shall I talk to everyone else? It's like, it is a trick question. Thank you. Why is it a trick question?
Because it's not about me giving value. It's not about me, actually. It's about sitting down with somebody whose goal is audacious enough and big enough and thrilling enough for them to want to achieve that. And the number becomes, it's just a number. It's just a detail.
Yes. So
that's why it's a trick question.
Yep.
It's a great thing. When I talk about coaching Richard Branson, how much value I have to add to Richard Branson for him to want to pay me. He could have any number of coaches. He's a billionaire. It's not about me. It's not about my knowledge. It's about my capacity to sit with somebody, be present for them, and open up a channel for them to be able to express to me what it is that they desire in their life and what it is that their fears are, and help them to look at those in a different way and start to create something new and unique and special for them.
Well, the way I describe it is if you help someone shift the way they see they see the world, their world changes. I got on a call with my new apprentice earlier this week. We spoke for 10 minutes and she went, oh my God, I get it. Oh, wow, I see it. Okay, we're good, I'm done. That's my experience of working with real high performers. So you don't need to coach them for long. She was done in 10 minutes. And that's just how it works. Her world shifted, and because I have a bias for people who take action, she's one of them, she wanted to start implementing. If you help people shift the way they see their world, the world's going to change. There is no special extra. Look, let's be clear, right? I know you've got a track record, 8 years of being an amateur, loving what you do. So you've delved deeply into building powerful coaching skills. I'm not talking to someone who's just done a 2-day coach training. I know who you are. And put coaching aside, you've got a track record, a history of showing up and doing extraordinary creative things in your life. You've been a leader. You are a leader. All this is part of who you are. So now it's just, what happened then?
Well, I just had a flash of me playing rather than being afraid to play. That's what I just had a flash of.
Yeah.
I just saw the little boy in the woods again. He's still there running around in the leaves. So yeah, it's about being in that playful space.
Let's play. £50,000 to work with you for a year. What might be the impact of someone spending time with you for a year?
Yeah, it could be. Well, it's life changing. I mean, it potentially their life could change beyond anything that they can conceive of right now.
So if you took a client, Simon, who was endlessly creative, someone who has dreams, steps into their dreams, you help them dream bigger than before and step deeper into those dreams than ever before, someone who's not afraid to fail and you help them to fail and try different things, someone who understands that there's fear, but you can step beyond fear, and beyond that is even fun, and you can create your life from this place of fun. Someone who's innately curious, but you draw even more curiosity out of them, and you help them to play. What impact do you think that might have on their business if they're a leader of an organization?
I don't know, it just would skyrocket.
What impact might that have on their connections, their communication with the people around them, their teams?
It feels that you're asking me questions and I'm just stating the obvious, but I can just see it. It feels to me like it, the connection between the people who are led by somebody in that space, it's inspiring, it's infectious, it's freeing, it's creative.
Have you been that leader in an organization when you come from this space and you see the inspiration that's created by the people around you?
At times. Yeah, at times.
What impact do you think it might have on their relationships, not just with their employees and their co-workers and their board of directors, but their family, their wife, their kids, their husband? What impact do you think it might have on their relationship if they came from this place?
It would make those relationships much more real, much more authentic, stronger, because they would be coming from a much deeper and more centered space. Yeah. And some relationships would fall away because they do, because the people around you can't stretch, but those ones that stay become the kinds of relationships which are authentic, deep heart connections. Yeah. And I've experienced that. They're the kinds of relationships I have with a small number of people, and people in the past have fallen away. Mm. Mm.
Do you know someone who is endlessly creative, has dreams, steps into their dreams, is not afraid to fail, knows what it's like to step beyond fear into fun and create their life in that space?
I've got about 3 answers in my head to that question. One of them is yes, me. Another one is my wife, and the other one is no, I don't know anyone like that.
So the first thing is, it would be cool that when you call me in 3 years' time, you say, Rich, I'm surrounded by people like that.
Mm. Mm. Well, I do actually. I do know people like that. There are a lot of the people that I connect with professionally. Yeah. So, a lot of people are, the leadership masterclass. They are those kinds of people. You're that kind of person. So yes, I do.
So it's good. You kind of the story that you've got is kind of fading a little bit right now.
Yeah. It's about expanding that definition.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking down here and you can't see it, then you don't have it. But if you raise your gaze, there it is. It's not it was there all the time. You just couldn't see it. So that's what just happened. It's about raising my gaze to be more inclusive, to be more peripheral.
And I'm checking in with myself because it's easy to go into this place of, okay, let's talk about one person. Who can you create as a client? And I think I'm slowing myself down because we've had a life-changing conversation so far. Like, you shifted the foundations of how you show up in life. You literally changed your history, and it had this ripple effect all the way through until now. And then we started to play, and you started to see that the world that you think is so far out there is actually a lot closer than you realize. And it's tempting for me to go into, okay, let's talk about who is it then? Who's the next client? How do you create that? But my sense is to not go there, to actually pause in this moment. It's the reason I like to work with people over time. Even if, if this was an enrollment conversation and we'd spoken for the first time, I'd still stop here and say, let's speak again. I'll put something on the calendar in a month's time, in 2 weeks' time, because I want to slow things down. I'm never in a rush. It's not about getting a quick fix. I don't think that's how it works in this game. Stuff is already changing. You shifted the way you see the world, so I know your world has just changed. It might be the person you walk out the door and meet at the bus stop. And they say, what do you do? And you say, well, it's funny you should ask. I work with some of the most creative people on the planet. People who have big dreams and step into those dreams. People who are insatiably curious. People who are willing to fail because they know that's the path to what they want to create. And the person at the bus stop says, holy shit, wow, that's me. See, everything's just shifted, and it's tempting to want to make stuff happen, but actually, I think stuff's going to happen just because you like to play. I think it's only going to happen because you like to play. So I'm going to pause.
I think that's brilliant. I'm now just wearing my coach's hat. I think that's brilliant what you've just done. Because I'm not ready to start getting specific. It would take me right back into fear and doubt. And right now I'm letting a whole new way of seeing the world embed.
So look, here's the thing. This is why I believe in life-changing conversations. I can take someone to a place where their world's changed because they've changed the way they see their world. But then there is something called a habit. You have a habit of wanting to get tight and be secure. It's a habit. Now the habit will kick back in. Like, I know it's good not to eat junk food, and sometimes I bring junk food home and I eat it. So it's just noticing will be the key. Awareness will be the key. Like, oh, I feel that feeling in my chest again. Like, oh, I'd forgotten. That's the feeling I used to feel. And then picture little Simon running in the woods. I think he'll just come up in those moments. But just the awareness is what's key right now moving forward. And not judging yourself if you get back to that place of feeling that tightness in your chest and feeling stuck again. It's being human, right? He's played out that way of being for a long time. It might come back. Be gentle on yourself in the next few days. After a conversation like this, I always recommend, so I'll say to you, don't make any life-changing decisions in the next couple of days. Be gentle on yourself. Tonight, have a nice warm bath. Just take care of yourself. If you want to write about this in the next couple of days and journal because it helps, that's cool too. But really take a bit of care of yourself. There's nothing to do right now. Things are already changing. I don't work with clients on doing. I work with them on being. Your being just shifted. So everything you want that looked so far away is closer than you've ever imagined. Nothing to do right now. Just take care of yourself. So let me check in with you, Simon, just as a way to wrap. Like, what's this? If you picked up one insight that you just wanted to capture right now, what's one insight from this conversation today?
It's about I don't know if I can put it into words, but it's about being in that space. Those words that you've read back to me 3 or 4 times, I don't have them written down. I need those. I need those. They're just fantastic. And I know how I am in that space, and I know that when I'm working in that space, I know that miracles happen. And I know that the frustration of not being able to step into that space, and it feels like that has fallen away. In terms of insight?
Well, let me pause you, because I think the reason words aren't coming, it's a felt change today. This is a visceral change. So you can't put that into words, so no need to try right now.
Mm-hmm.
You get it. I get it. I know Johnny Depp never watches his own movies. You may want to review this, partly because you'll see insights as you watch yourself being coached, but also as a coach, as a professional coach, looking at where we've gone in this conversation. It wouldn't matter who you were. This is the conversation I would have had with you, because and look at what I've done. I didn't buy into your story. I saw the glimpse of genius in you, and I only spoke to that. And that's why it's here. And I really encourage you to go back to all of your clients and be relentless. Be insatiably curious, because that's who you are, about what's that thing that makes them extraordinary, and then speak to that place and draw it out of them. Have it blossom right in front of your eyes. It's really fun.
Yes. It is fun. Yeah, it's great fun.
Simon, thank you for playing with me. Thank you for honoring this space. Thank you for being willing to go deep and to really speak your truth. Be authentic.
Thank you, Rich. Thank you for taking me there. It's been powerful. Thank you.
Perfect. And we're done.